It's been a bit of a whirlwind series as we find ourselves going into map 3 here. Of course, I'm Golden Boy alongside with Brennan Sideshow. And Brennan, I mean, off the top already, this series is really the gift that keeps on giving.
Honestly, I'm having a ton of fun watching it. As much as, you know, listen, we're pointing out a lot of mistakes at both of these teams, but, you know, it's the first time we've seen FPX on the global stage, first time we've seen this Karman Corp roster also come together, and as well, the storylines are really just coming full circle as well. Think back to Champions of last year, and it was Scream when he was playing on Liquid who actually knocked out Edward Gaming from that tournament, the old #1 seed coming through from China, and now you've got FPX versus Karman Corp going a distance. And remember, single eliminate tournament means that, listen, there's a high chance, I would say, especially going into Pearl, that you could see FPX taking this.
And I also want to give a huge shout out here, the 2 IGLs being the MVPs of that map in the end. And Berlin was actually having a bit of a stinker at the start because he was trying to push all the time, always get aggressive, but it conditioned Karman Corp to play this super slow game, and they just couldn't get the advantage that they were previously having in that early round scrap. You remember last time how it was 17-2 in terms of first kills to first deaths. I mean, that is not the case anymore. It was much more even, just 11-10 in favor this time of FPX as well. So doing way better in the early round, and also stopping Karman Corp from getting any post-plant success.
That was my favorite moment. Honestly,
I
don't mean to be disparaging to anyone, but genuinely watching it from that point of view and seeing a body flail to the ground, just flop. Just, oh man, it looked like me playing football in my 40s. That was just so good.
I think really the story of this map though has got to be that it was a big miss from Karman Corp. They come in with an overcooked composition on FPX's previous permaban map.
Why did we let them cook?
Yeah,
Why did we let them cook, man?
Who let them cook?
I don't know.
Just
I completely agree with you.
Keep it simple, keep it safe, and I think they could have put FPX to bed here, and already they might be booking their flights home. And instead, it gets to this really dangerous third.
Well, I think that is and that's where we find ourselves here as we get ready for map 3, and one has to wonder. Look, we made a lot of jokes in the pre-show.
Yeah,
but this actually could be an upset alert.
It could be. No, genuinely. I mean, there was a chance of it. There was a chance of it because there were so many unknowns coming in with Karman Corp as well. And I think that these guys...
Who's the upset for, though?
The upset for? I mean, it's going to be FPX if they win this, because this is a team with no experience on the global stage. They're up against veterans in the forms of Scream and Nivera, and they are one map away from knocking out Karman Corp.
I want to also put another stat out there that is just blowing my mind. FPX took a bit of a chill in the halftime, and even when they were losing that first player, they were able to win 4v5 situations 6 out of 10 times on Haven. Wow. That's absurd. Nobody does that. And that is because, again, Karman Corp are really struggling to convert these situations. They looked uncomfortable with the comp that they were running. And I feel like we're seeing the fears that we had about this Karman Corp roster, where the theory is really cool from Scream, but the way that it comes into reality, there's a problem there between the theoretical and how it's actually coming out. They had tons of agents that could make the space, but no one who could take the space.
Scream just wasn't ready for Viper, honestly.
I mean,
it's a hard comp to play against. It really is. It's not standard.
It is definitely non-standard. I mean, Scream's met as match in that regard, I think, in terms of playing the non-standard compositions. But we're heading deeper into Pearl as well, which I guess we will preview at some point.
Well, yeah, and what do we get here, right? Because we are getting wonky compositions across the board, but does Scream go to duelists, or are they running no duelists?
I mean, Scream always plays duelists, and in this... The fact that he was saying in the press conferences, I'm not going to be on duelist, guys, and then they come out with no duelist comps. Map 1, map 2. I mean, map 3 is surely going to be a no duelist comp again.
Should be, right?
Well,
I don't agree with it, but I think that's what they're going to do.
If you are just joining us here, I implore you to go have fun and watch Lotus and Haven, because those were 2 really entertaining games to watch. But now we go to Pearl, and I genuinely don't know what to expect here, because at this point, it's like, I feel like this is expect the unexpected. Well, that's it.
Let's give you the lowdown on FPX on Pearl. It's considered one of FPX's best maps. They play usually the same comp we just saw from them on Haven, where they play the double smokes and then they play the double initiator and the chamber. My question is, do they commit to the chamber on Pearl? Because it's not a standard meta pick right now. Chamber's been massively nerfed. I think that might be the only time we see it in the whole tournament, frankly, on Haven. So are they going to run it again here?
That's the question, right? If they don't want to change up the composition hard as well. But I think this has the makings of FPX honestly taking it all the way. I mean, watching them on Pearl as well, if you actually watch them when they play their regional games when they learn this map, they are very, very good at actually kind of just taking up space in mid when it's offered to them. They play the map quite well on their attack side.
They're not bad.
And I think a team like Karman Corp that are already showing signs that, you know, they don't quite have the reps when they're playing unorthodox compositions, that creates gaps in their play.
Please just keep it simple.
If you keep it simple, if you're Karman Corp, I think you can win this in the matchup that should be expected for you to win. But honestly, it comes down to that. Are they going to overcook? Are they going to leave the lasagna in the oven too long? Are they going to burn the house down?
KSS, keep it simple, scream.
Yeah,
so that's what we need here. And let's see what we end up getting.
I don't like the look of this.
Mate,
what is that?
I don't like the look of this preview.
I've never seen that guy on the right before. No way! Come on, man! I mean, this is win or lose, they're doing it Karman Core style.
Yeah.
Win or lose, they're doing it Karman Core style.
And we don't see the chamber being played on FPX's side. They're going to be running the jet instead.
But I think the jet makes a lot of sense. It's a good swap instead of the chamber that they would normally run. But the Karman Core comp, I mean, listen, if they win, props to them. You brought out something awesome and it was crazy. But if they lose, oh my word.
At the beginning, I asked you guys who's going to win. Sideshow, who's winning?
Oh, maybe Karman Core, please.
I'm putting it all on FPX, honestly.
All right,
the house, the card, everything.
The chips are in. Let's jump into the action.
My wife's going to leave.
This is it. We're all set for Mat 3. I don't think he's married. And this decides which team is going to be moving on to this competition. Is it going to be FPX? Is it going to be Carmine? Let's send it back over to Pansy and Hypoc for the fun.
Fun.
Yeah, it should be.
EMEA fans are in tatters right
now. I mean, a lot of rides on this with elimination on the line to pull out the Harbour.
Talk me through that, Michael.
I mean, this is like 2-7 off suit pushing all in blind. Honestly.
You said some words and things.
Yeah, just echoing the desk there.
Are you losing the house as well?
I'm heavily in favour of FPX here, especially considering they're employing another, composition that you got to assume they're going to be fairly comfortable with after what we saw in Haven. And on the other side of that, Carmine Core really struggled to counter. Like even some of the most, I hate saying this, but some of the most basic aspects of what they were doing, Carmine Core just didn't formulate a response.
I can't even blame Sliggy for this.
No.
There's literally no one to blame.
You could try.
I'll be back in the slug club soon, just absolutely in pieces. You know what? Maybe he'll be sick.
I'm here for it. Again, if you pull out Harbour and you're just going to absolutely dominate on Pearl here on the decider,
right?
Backs against the wall, then yeah, I'm here for it.
The game devs are there going, please, guys, make it look good.
Somebody's on the payroll from the dev team.
They've absolutely been funneling cash over.
It's one of the most diverse composition face-offs I think we'll see this event.
That is a way to put it, Michael. I like that. Oh, I think I say following that statement will be good. So, let's see what they're up to. A little bit of a double hit through art, basically. Leaving one over towards A-Long. Crunching in. I think it'll be Berlin on the receiving end. Prowler's going to note. Oh, the dog's going to note at least one.
Oh, we've got a set piece.
Here it comes.
Wall's gone up.
All right.
See the pressure comes through here. Berlin looking to get a little aggro on the back side of it, but no information spotted either side. I think Luzera even taken
30 seconds left.
a shot or two on the end there. Very passive hold initially, but it's a free plant for Carmine Core. Say that, screamed out to 5 HP. Luzera isolated on site right now and pinged up.
He's 100% spotted in this as well. The good flash, though, tries to play him out of it, but how much more can he do here? Tries to take a fight, the dash comes in. Great shot, but better trade. This is all effective for FPX still. And keep in mind, Scream still 5 HP. Overwhelmed and overrun at this point. Scream still down solo. He needs the 1v1. No! He's not got it. DZH. Composure kept. Final found, round on the board.
I mean, with this wall here, again, I can see that they want to set up for this comfortable post plant towards Art, but at that point, when it's completely uncontested, plant for main and Art. Maybe a slight adjustment required here, but maybe it was the tag that comes on to Nuzera that he's conscious of planting there towards default. It just cuts off so many possibilities. Yeah, I mean, the second shot.
Yeah.
It's 5 HP, TZH. Still clipping him on the edge of the box there. Well, no, actually, another adjustment there is Scream to be the first to swing with the 5 HP.
Yes.
Almost bait for the second player, but FPX on the board here.
XMS, yeah. Oh, Berlin, okay.
Buy one, get one free for Berlin.
It's the crosshair. I swear to you, whatever's happened, he's just... Ugh. Turn it on. Now, look, I don't want to get ahead of myself because it's still quite early. It's only the first round here. But again, I didn't think we'd go 3 maps. I didn't think we'd see Harbor. I'm a bit worried.
I mean, after the second map, I got to say I was a little worried considering. Oh, Nevera, again, doubling down with the Sheriff, but consolations and nothing more. YU, once again, we noted obviously in the previous run through with our economy early on to try and get the operator in his hands. This one not looking as good as a previous FPX round 3.
No.
2 Spectres, a Sheriff, and the scope for YU. So we've got to see Carmine Corps really stop the momentum.
Yeah.
The last time Scream didn't play a duelist in a series was actually against FPX. Obviously, the previous roster, well, a long time ago, 2020.
Look at the stack here. Nuzera and Nevera both charged with this. I don't know how much more they're going to get away with. No, nothing more. So, found Nevera, but is it recoverable? You can see TZH is thinking about it. They get the ult. Fancies it. And Shin's found him. So,
worth a shot.
Valiant
try and
attempt.
get a rifle.
Yeah, absolutely, why not? Now, the last 2, it is Marshall and a Spectre, so maybe I need to be a little more worried. Yeah, just a Marshall. Oh my God, just a Marshall. And it's a 1v2. Like, this isn't impossible. No flashes yet. Now comes back into pocket. Has to give away the game. Gets revealed. The timing, maybe a second either way, could have been different. But only 2 alive is not perfect, and one of them's still got a Guardian. Yeah, damage done, and you're right, XMS. Only a Guardian to hold on to here. Probably going to give that across to, or tried to at least. Nobody wanted it. I don't think I will, actually. Just a Marshall.
I almost thought as well that was a tag onto a second player, which would have made it doable for a Yang.
Yeah, that could have been certainly a different account then, yeah, you're
Unfortunately, does get pinged by the reveal. Look to try and flash on the back of that, but the wallbang comes through. Proactivity once again.
Oh, look at this commitment.
Heavy investment outside A. Actually over the top. YU looks to try and dig a little deeper, find something with that Blade Storm.
I wonder if they only saw one of those players then. I didn't know if the second quite crested the corner. Still pretty telling. But again,
I'm interested to see as well the comparison with how slow, we talked about it being a slow burn on Haven with that composition. Now with the Jet, whether or not there's a pace change that, again, completely flips the script for Carmine Corps in terms of expectations.
It certainly could be the case. Scream testing the waters by middle. Noting nothing off the back of this as well, as you can note for ourselves. FPX sitting quite deep on this, not particularly willing to challenge early on, not giving too much over to Carmine Corp here.
The other thing as well, it does kind of throw things off kilter with no Sentinel on the side of FPX. These early round protocols to deal with some utility aren't there for Carmine Corp, sorry. So they have to dig to try and find a first blood. And actually finally do. Shin will find the open onto a Yang. YU still creeping around with this Blade Storm.
Oh, needed.
Oh my God!
XMS?
Yep, closing that one out.
Clean work. It's fine if they win the round. TZH and...
No wonder he wanted to get rid of that Guardian so bad.
Please, someone take it away from me. Yuchun, TZH, not really gifted many ways back into this round.
Hold on to the rifles, honestly, yeah.
But this, it's stabilizing for Carmine Corp because, again, I just can't believe we're in the scenario for them. This has to be confidence building now. They have to kind of feel like, at one point walking into this, they were a heavy favorite.
But that's the other thing as well, to come out in that previous map win, to now have the opportunity to switch the pace up with a duelist in the composition. Again, it's FPX in the driving seat, right? They can dictate the tempo, even on the defensive side here on Pearl, which we've seen a couple of times already. This aggression outside A main. There's a number of times that Carmine Corps have been stacked behind it. They will tie up 2 apiece. Take a look at the ultimates outside of the Blade Storm, obviously invested already. TZH in Berlin not too far away. Thank God for the slow-mo on that one.
Yep, needed that. I still just want to see what FPX start doing. The money's so unstable at the moment that we aren't seeing them fully able to purchase too much. Want to see how it starts looking with that Harbor coming into place. No, it's not really turned my head just
Well, I
yet.
mean,
It's been somewhat functional.
Let's look towards the possibilities here in terms of shutting down this earlier aggression, right?
Yeah.
Whether or not we do see that employed. This time around, actually, I'm not sure how
How did that
TZH
just
has
happen?
found that kill. It's all the way over towards boxes here by the orb.
They just spammed before the utility came in? Yeah, genuinely uncertain, but it looks like a second attempt could have been had there, but no, decides
Actually,
against it.
Carmine Core peel away from me. I'm not sure if that rifle is going to become retrievable at some point, but FPX looking to explore towards Art here. As 3, A Yang to
Did
balance that at double
investigate it?
doors as well.
The ending, though, it's a dry swing, and it's actually worked out well enough for a trade.
Spike
1
noted.
for 1. You're right, Spike down, and they're going to smother this. They're going to get involved. Yeah, taking over the space. TP, going to get it back to hand. That's big, and they already seem to realize that. You've already got the Seekers coming out as well. They're going to be heading over towards that B site, so very indicative of where this is going now. Zaddy for Berlin, only that Sheriff. Last time I said, only this happened. Apparently any weapon in hand is fine. And now slows the roll, buys time for rotation. They can't crest that corner comfortably now.
Should have a decent understanding of where they are, and these smoke's going to expire pretty soon. FPX actually closing this one out, and just 2 rifles bringing into that. The first blood, again, we didn't see exactly how it happened.
Yeah.
But Carmine Core forced into a rotation. Nevera luckily having that TP online to retrieve the spike, but again, felt a little flustered there in the rotation. There was, again, an unorthodox swing.
Oh.
Okay, now we saw how it happened.
I have to once again credit how much I'm enjoying watching FPX being hyper proactive. Everything they do, even if it's with, it was a shoddy buy last round, they still try to get in towards middle. They try to dominate the extremity there, quick rotations. I love it. And this utility intention behind it too, taking over map territory, taking over space.
And what's interesting now is, again, YU's not actually got the operator online just yet, but if they continue with this A main pressure, it's going to actually force them towards that operator.
Yes.
Over on B side, Nevera actually the one to have the scope this time around. Some opportunities here to play retake, at least with that Cosmic Divide as well, which is why I think we see YU play a little more passively here. Happy to give up sight. Have 2 big retake ultimates actually with Berlin.
There's one coming through. That should catch maybe 2 players, but it's the pacing in which this happens. Shin is on the hunt. Wants the player down, shot in hand, just trying to close the gap. This is so scary. Who sees who first? It's Shin. And now we're down to just 3 remaining for FPX. It's try and find any avenue back in, but these ultimates are being poured in, committed. Great trades again. Shin is so pivotal to this round.
A beautiful hold there. A little late actually on the investment of the Cosmic Divide with no real presence towards site just yet, but Carmine Core making the right decision to stand their ground on site. We'll tie things up 3 apiece. Now I'm interested to see, with that operator in play now, how diligent Carmine Core are on the approach towards B.
Yeah, timeout now being called. FPX. Deciding it's time to maybe adjust a little. Again, I like their opening work.
I don't think that's necessary, yeah.
No, I'm actually still pretty happy with how they've been playing. I like that early A main control they've been going for. Maybe they just feel need to touch base. Maybe the coach is feeling they've noted something. I don't think they're particularly being outdone just yet.
No, I mean, like I said, the other side of it is forcing Carmine Core towards B or towards, obviously, double doors and R, which with that 3-player stack towards A site, could be very problematic for them. It's timeout almost. I mean, you feel like give Carmine Core an opportunity to think a couple of things over. Shin already having a standout performance here on the decider. 10-3 leading the charge for Carmine Core. Not blown away by the Harbor just yet.
Nope. It's not.
I'll be the one to say it.
You're brave. No one else would. Yeah, it's certainly not. It's not doing anything that any other agent couldn't do. It's not showing me anything new. If it's just simply comfort, I mean, fine. But even then, Bit of a stretch.
I mean, that would be a concern in itself. Nuzera hasn't exactly felt comfortable through this series, I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's not, as I say, it's not hitting anything for me, but I'm looking at a pace change to an extent here, and a different look from Carmine Corp coming straight out of this mic, straight up middle.
And Nuvera again finding value with this operator.
I know exactly where
Full theft will go in. Yeah, and see Carmine Corp look to respond on the back of this information immediately. Now they're going to read that YU is obviously anchoring towards B here. Invest some smokes, a little bit of utility from Nuzera as well. But YU's going to hear these steps, yeah.
Yeah, you can
already see the ping coming through on the minimap.
Yeah, comms being made. Screams lurk. Interesting to see what he gets out of it.
Yang,
Could be timing.
Does he check this?
And they could pause for this, you know? Yeah, that's so much heard. They are actually pulling the plug on this hit off the back of what Screams heard.
There's even Nuvera showing presence there.
Scream does get seen here. So he's completely free.
He's so paranoid. He can see the pings on the minimap. They're conscious. Somebody's still in dugout or secret. Somebody tucked up in A main. So we're going to have plenty of time to get through here and find the plant.
They work this back out pretty quick. Yeah, Scream though sitting towards pit. Still willing to take a fight towards TZH and wins that one out. Not going to find the follow-up just yet. And the others, I wonder if there's commitment behind this. There is an operator in hand, so it might be a save here. Great audible call.
Flips the question back on FPX of whether or not they try and find some early round value off this operator. So they're just not seeing it. Concern being as well, they're going back towards that site the operator's on. Scream stuck in that lurk. No flashes available. Almost requires that dry swing from Nuvera to try and challenge that. So lucky not to see that go amiss either way. Carmine Corp will take the lead though, find their fourth. Don't think there's going to be a purchase to scrape together here for Berlin and TZH.
2.8 and 2.4, yeah. But as it stands, stringing a couple of rounds together now, if we're talking bigger context, which we try and do throughout these games. FPX leading with those pistol rounds at the start, certainly buffering out the scoreline. This is good from Carmine Corp to at least keep this one building back in their favor after a couple of rounds that certainly were worrying, certainly did catch our eye, but they found some solution. They found something that's working for them here.
First time we are going to see a challenge towards B long here. Or maybe not actually, just an investment in utility. The knife as well to go through. Denial of information early on, and Carmine Corp looking to creep through double doors here.
Oh,
Yuchuk dealt with immediately. These challenges coming through much quicker from Carmine Corp now. Actively looking for these openers. Previous with Nuvera, here with Shin.
The pressure coming through middle as well. This is going to need so much more than that. Yeah, you had to have hoped for it. Berlin not finding the shot he wanted either. Carmine Corp winning out all of these fights here.
Well, Spike's all the way back in spawn, by the way.
Oh, that's good.
So we're in a deathmatch lobby right now.
Just gonna wait until that's
FPX are probably thinking, what the hell is going on right now?
Yeah, why have they not?
They've pinched mid. they've got
They've
B
won
site.
the round, and
Yep.
why are they not winning the round right now? Well, you know, things have changed since franchising. Things are a little different, you know. It's Scream, still fine though. Gonna control the site, and be it delayed or not, probably gonna have a similar outcome here. A 2v5 is maybe a little out of reason. They might even try and hunt this down. Looking at the money now starting to swell. YU going to be able to keep hold of the operator for a little bit longer. No rifle until then. Okay, so they do at least get a rifle on TZH. I wonder if they can keep both of those. That'd be a little bit more of a prized possession.
Rivera eager to try and find this kill. Dropping the X-ray off. YU still finds it. So operator removed. Don't think it's really going to cause any problems here, but Shin has slipped the net. Would have heard TZH in mid. Yeah, and YU not considering it. So actually, FPX to lose the operator.
No charges.
A Vandal in the hands of TZH. No Blade Storm available, and now actually the cracks starting to show. And that bank balance for FPX. Carmine Core stretch their legs a little bit. 2 rounds separate them.
Yeah, once these buys have started to become far more robust for Carmine Corp, this has started to feel a little bit more procedural. It's not as exciting as map 2. And I kind of thought it would be the other way around, if I'm completely honest. The newer maps would have suited potentially FPX here, but they looked far better.
What's crazy is this smoke from TZH actually denies the information from that flash sent out by Yang. Not sure if just a little mistimed there, but he's going to know, obviously, with the presence shown, the utility invested. Nivera creeping closer and closer with that operator, but lucky actually that Yang doesn't swing onto it. I felt like it was a little isolated there, honestly.
Yeah, no one quite holding the angle close enough that would have been able to punish it, so yeah. For now, halted. Respecting the wall enough.
So cautious of FPX just pulling something funky out of the bag. Demonstrating real restraint.
Face your fear.
Okay, gonna once again potentially only find one at the back of the site, but they still have not noted the one player sat in the corner. YU. Anything more? No, just gets to keep the life down. Actually, it's a Yang to connect, so first blood drawn, and now we're at the 30-second marker. That hesitancy is making me a little worried.
30 seconds left.
Why you get a second shot at this with the Sheriff? Again, the timing on this utility is just so difficult for Carmine Core to counter. Shin tucked inside this cage. Will actually find one and the second. Huge from him to open this round up for Carmine Core.
Absolute heroics from that man who's been pretty much a saving grace through some of these early rounds for them. It's not without a response, still 3v3, but the weapon sitting so favorably to Carmine Core, especially in this post plant. How are they going to disrupt that? Nivera not going to allow it. Already going to find the first, so TZH trying to attempt getting towards that spike.
Yeah, Yu-Chan just waiting for a little bit of this Toxin cooldown to rebuild to try and get a tap on the spike at least, but the reveal going to really make that difficult. Doesn't even need it. Shin going to find his third.
Yu-Chan for the desperate attempts. And an exit. I've got to say, for me,
Shin
Shin
firing
is
up.
absolutely carrying this game to no end.
Some really influential rounds from him, still
17
leading the
to
charge
3.
for Carmine Core.
Take him away from the equation. I don't know if the scoreline's the same at this point. Genuinely.
FPX will be able to get the purchase back here. Operator in hand for YU, just about getting back online with some of these ultimates as well. I might see a little bit of a switch up on the attacking side here. Now that FPX have given up on this A main aggression, countered a little bit, reposition of the operator for YU. He's posted up in mid here, so it's a fairly all-in hit towards A main. TZH just going to look to play off the util, but
Oh, the
look
drift
at
back.
YU drifting into mid.
They're coming back towards him. I wonder, maybe not an operator if they did decide it. I wonder if he has a step, anything?
Well, this is on the back of XMS. Is he reading this? Like, nobody's holding this with the operator. He's got to be somewhere else. Be conscious that they're not aggressive outside A main. Could be the operator playing deep from A site.
Yeah, I guess some of the indicators that have been quite telling prior
Yes,
are missing. And I
very
think that's
polarizing.
a really, really good shout there. I think Carmine Corp have absolutely read this correctly if they wanted to go for the safest route. And yeah, it's Berlin on the other side, sat at the back of the B site. Just going to make sure. A couple of players have tried to slip through over by the screen there. Not going to get it this time. By all accounts, it's looking safe. The rotations will be in, and Berlin, what? How is no one double checking on this? Berlin was noted earlier on and mistakes being made, maybe a little bit of confusion, but FPX with a punish. Yushan out of nowhere finding 2. And even Nivera almost irrelevant to outcome considering he's posted alone. The flank's already being watched and potentially wrapped on.
And this is crazy to consider as well, because it's Berlin this time left
10 seconds left.
to hold on to this site completely solo. Just at the right time, getting information. And stands his ground for FPX. We'll find them their 4th. And Carmine Core fairly healthy in terms of the finances here.
I still can't believe that's the outcome. Rolling your mind back to the great read that they had at the start.
Yeah, great read, yes, but the operator wasn't actually confirmed, right?
No.
So they have to run through these protocols
Of course,
once again
of course.
in the next round. I'll see, it's actually, that could be one of those situations where Carmine Corp could potentially walk into a trap. FPX will be able to force an error very early on in the round. Because Nevera's not necessarily playing very aggro with his operator.
No, we haven't seen him kind of being the playmaker as such, more a safe approach. It was kind of why we liked him with the Amp. You'd have very polarizing operator styles.
Not noted on the knife either here, so he can creep once again.
My ult is ready.
There's 4 members of FPX on this A side of the map.
Yuchun,
I was going to say, is Shin going to spot this?
hold on, timing.
There's the Vandals to deal with it, actually. YU
Still?
does ring off a shot, so it
Yeah.
is noted now. Carmine Corp look to react on the back of that. Trying to plant the seeds of a fake towards A site. Spike not committed just yet, but they're trying to fake both
Counter
sides at
Seekers.
the same time.
Yeah, this is going to make it incredibly difficult. Now, the only bonus is the Seekers are still en route, and there is one of them heading up towards that A site, will eventually tilt through that side. Just about cresting that corner. So you can see the YU is checking for someone just leaning towards the A site. They noted the 2 off the initial double Seekers that went through that way. So this could be a decent
He's in
read.
such a good spot to pick up information, though.
How deep do they clear it? Oh my
Nuzera?
word, Nuzera! So diligent in clearing that so deep as well.
30 seconds.
Brilliant work. I don't think a step was heard. I think just really good foresight towards this.
I mean, it's 25 seconds, so they have to make a move. Look at where the spike is right
Spike's in
now.
Spawn. And if there's a
Yuchun's
little
got
bit-
Yuchun's got himself a
position.
little dirty spot in that pocket once again.
It was used before, though. I think YU played that as well, so they are aware of this possibility. But they have to make a move. It's 10 seconds. They have to go now. And there's the initial bit of utility just to try and play delay. And they still don't know the just spot in the corner. And a fumble coming out from Carmine Corp after a fantastic read. They've run out of time, and they've run out of options.
I mean, that's a really frustrating round to sit back and watch because it takes Carmine Corp an eternity to figure out exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
But FPX, like I said, Yuchun gets himself into that little rat spot.
Look, they know exactly what they have to do.
Yeah. At that
Brilliant.
point, like I said, we always say this, when the clock runs down, it comes down to just one kill, one key tag, one key piece of utility.
There's no time to recover.
Nope. And you also sacrifice a body because somebody has to stick the plant.
Yeah, you're already a player down. If you look at it that way, you're absolutely right. Frustration probably from Carmine Corp here now. But at 5-6, still leading. Lovely Nevera. Such a treat to watch him on the operator, starting to read the opponents a little better now.
YU getting a little antsy now, desperate for that value, but
Oh,
Berlin
Didn't
doubling
expect
down
follow-up.
on this. Nevera will trade it out quickly, so it's a 4v3 for Carmine Corp. But again, next 20 seconds or so, I want to see a plan. I want to see them setting up towards a site. They've got Shin posted up towards A main. They're going to know that it's a looser hold towards this site. But don't give TZH a 1v1.
No, that guy is good. Like, he's been solid as a rock. And this time, the other 2 players, Yang, Yuchen, are on the other side of the map. The flash, actually, if anything, could spur this on, and the ult to boot. This is a lot for TZH to deal with. Just above the wall, does get away with his life. Still going to keep himself in this one. Can he slow down the hit coming in? He is smothered. There is 3 players worth of utility being invested towards him, but he's still standing. The plants can come in. He's held towards pit. They have lost out towards R. This is still a big uphill struggle for FPX in this round.
Yeah, they can reset here, though. Vera just trying to plant some paranoia in the back lines with that TP, but everybody from FPX coming through from the same side here.
Oh,
Viper's Pit will
That
cover
will
the
reach it.
spike as well, yeah.
anything to counter that, really?
The reveal from Shin, maybe, back in 5 seconds.
Flash didn't actually get Nevera. How did that not get Nevera? I thought that was perfect. And now we're down to just one. TZH, the man who started this, with one to fall at the end, but it will be still a very close half.
A-Yang's been robbed with that flash.
Yeah, there's...
Felt perfect on the outside of the Viper's
Fair.
Pit. Shin, 18-6. Outstanding performance from him on the decider here for Carmine Corp. Again, a solid game all round so far from FPX.
I would say in my mind as well, the pistol round is huge.
Yeah, I
coming
mean, credit where credit's due. Why are you unable to find a lot of the value that he did on Haven?
Yeah.
So in that regard, we do have to credit the early round, or the IGLing actually from Scream in terms of figuring out some of these setups.
Well, plenty more to see, plenty more to find out as we are leading in towards that final half here.
Definitely another scrappy half there between two, well, incredibly scrappy teams, besides Shin, by the way. I just want to give him all the credit in the world. Yeah. My man's out there slaying like a god. But there really were some unique things and ideas, I guess, presented here by Carmine Corp.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Harbor and what they were doing with it, because even though New Zero's only like 2-9, 3-9 right now, he was actually involved in a lot of their game plans. So when you look at how he was using his utility, using Cascade to get room early on, and then he's put the wall up in multiple positions. This one just allows them to deny some information over towards double doors. Yushin doesn't know what's happening. He's worried that someone could have got into the middle of sight. And then this is a really crucial one, using the Cove to be able to get different plant spots. And this allows them to play late, because you can't deny the plant as easily, and it allows them to play their plant in positions where you wouldn't expect. So on B, for example, it allows them to get a very safe plant tucked behind the box. They can play out in the open, and that's really important because Carmine Corp's composition doesn't have any good post-plant utility. And here we see another thing, the ultimate just being used to stop some of these B retakes from happening, and those B retakes had no chance. The B retakes had no legs from FPX, they weren't getting the value out of the operator, and things became very difficult for them.
They really did. Yeah, I think the Harbor usage, probably not the first time we'll see it as well. There's a lot of teams that are experimenting it, just in the off-season itself. But some interesting usage, honestly, even though, like you said, scoreline wasn't too good for him personally. But looking ahead, I'm going to be taking a look at YU actually as an individual. And Pansy and Hypop made note of this as well, you know, a bit of a fall-off, bit of a drop-off compared to the last map of his own individual performances. But I think, honestly, a large part of this was the fact that Carmine Corp were doing a good job of avoiding him with the operator, and the fact that he was an absolute nutcase of how he was playing with the operator. The man was like pushing into mid alone over and over and over again. But one of the things that I mentioned as we were heading into Pearl was that I was looking forward to FPX's attack side, and it is YU who's going to be the spearhead of their attack side, of them taking space. So I'm anticipating if FPX are to win this, it's got to be off the back of him and his individual play.
Well, we'll see how this all plays out. Let's go into that second half and send it back over to your casters.
Yeah, plenty more to be seen, hopefully. We are keeping our eyes trained on what a couple of these players can achieve now going forward.
Absolutely, and Bren's nailed it for me. I was talking about Haven being what should be a slow burn on that attack. Now they got a little bit of bite, a little bit of pop to this composition. So, yes, a quiet first half from YU, but all eyes on him now to be the driving force for FPX. Wow.
Shin.
Shin continuing his success from the first half already.
I mean, if you're talking about driving force, he is absolutely maintaining that role. Shin has been outstanding for Carmine Corp, even, excuse me, considering he's been just start to finish in this.
I think YU's actually eaten a shot as well from the Sheriff there.
It
now
looked
for 46
on him.
HP, yeah. He was looking to just dash in with his frenzy. It's going to completely slow things down. Scream's got to be careful, he might still get caught there. Just stand his ground.
Yeah, I really thought he might get some bailout from New Zera potentially, but they were able to just filter straight through. No real pressure coming in. And the timing, it's devastating. Ayang must be gutted in this after that. Just as he got the flash to hand. There's just too many in front of them.
And what's interesting to note, Yuchan obviously investing this wall to try and deny any support coming through from B site, obviously into that link area. It makes it difficult to really re-hit. They're trying to isolate that angle on towards connector, and obviously deny the space outside art, but Shin, man, what a step up to this stage to deliver this performance here on the deciding map for Carmine Corp.
And not one of the players I would have put there either. If you look at the roster of Nevera, Scream, XMS, some of the big names, experienced names, him finding his form here, as all of these games are elimination games, is fantastic. Giving them enough lead after what's been quite a shambolic run so far. If you're looking at them as a favorite, it's one of the heavy hitters. And now we go back in. Purchase working so far.
I want to see what this attacking shorty for Ayang is going to get done.
You a big believer in this?
Yep.
Full faith, can't wait. treat. Oh. Oh, we are waiting patiently to see it really find value here. Still not found it. B-site, 3 players waiting for anyone to come around. There's the flash. Didn't quite go deep enough either to catch more than one of these players, but it does allow him on the site and does do a little bit of damage. But it's Nuzera to go farming and Scream to put on a highlight reel.
Couple of taps to close out the Prime Gaming flawless here for Carmine Court. Absolutely the start they were looking for in this second half. A decent buffer towards the finances here. A real old progression to write home about. See if this remains as calm and collected throughout here for Carmine Court. Once again, eyes towards YU. 6 and 10 here, bottom of the scoreboard for FPX. There's a light armor behind this Vandal here. Rivera giving a couple of attempts at this. Does find a tag onto Berlin, but not a massive amount of damage. Similar approach once again. It's actually Yucha and YU, the two that were disconnected on that default on Haven. It's the same approach once again here on Pearl. 4 members of Carmine Core rotated over towards A. Scream now just drifting back towards Connector.
The timing on this. Yeah, they've just had 2 players get past. TZH has no idea this could even be possible. And the first challenge, unbelievable!
So good. He is so good!
Mechanically robust as hell. No indicator they've gotten that close either, just great intuition on this.
So the rest of FPX will funnel through Art. Double smoke up, XMS not really going to have a say in this one with just a Sheriff and a Marshal to work with. Scream creeping up towards mid, but this one looks fairly comfortable here for FPX, aside some heroics.
Yeah, these positions aren't really allowing for much. XMS, yeah, he'll get the first bit of attention. If he got the second, I'd be paying attention. Now Scream did well before with this, but it's probably really exits, if anything, but you have to just purely look at the individual TZH there. That was off the back of 1 player.
Could be huge if he does find some, force some of these repurchases.
Are they all exiting this way? I think they are, yeah. Timing.
Onto it now, we'll find the first, but Yuchun, good for the response. Luckily, nobody getting caught by the spike either. So 3 rifles across.
It's not bad.
Why use anywhere near that Blade Storm just yet, but we'll throw a rifle in here.
BYB fam.
Albeit a
Boy's
Guardian.
acting up on the desk. Just making noise now.
You're welcome.
That is a disgusting round from TZH.
Yeah.
Like you said, just relying on pure mechanics there. No information of 2 creeping up that close.
The fact he checks, like, I don't know, beyond my means by a country mile. As it stands, though, Operator still into play for Nivera. This could be the first time we get to see this truly tested here.
Now they avoid the knife. Not a massive over-rotation from Carmine Court. We'll actually hear the Prowler coming down regardless. Nivera on that Operator time and time again, finding value. Berlin will fall. Taking away some key utility for this B site here. Looks like they might even follow through on this.
Yeah, see if the commitment's still going to follow. Nivera is just a safe player. If you want to call him anything, it's so safe with that. Scream there to back him up as well, so they've already doubled down on that initial pick. They do have a play towards the back of the site, though, and so one we wanted to watch is YU. See how much he can achieve in this. Removing Nuzera is it's not the be-all and end-all. I'm looking for the rest, and he's still going to find more. Nivera goes down. Scream unchecked upon, and you can't leave him unchecked. Him and Shin do damage right back here, leaving just Yang left alive in a 1v2. No opportunity to bring it further forward. Yes, damage achieved, but damage now doesn't matter against double digits.
No, FPX needed that round to really keep this a close affair in the second half. We only have Sheriffs to throw at this one. It's Nivera again with that Operator. Repeating what he's done before. I've got to say, in that front, facing off versus YU, definitely won out in terms of the value discussion. for that operator purchase. Beautiful cleanup here.
Getting pumped up now. But Flash not too telling of the indication here that Scream and Shin are going walkabouts. They're feeling it now. They're feeling confident, and rightly so. The only response so far is YU flying out himself, but it's just a brawl in middle. That is it. It's just bring what you can and take a battle.
I mean, equal trade-off if you consider the damage and a couple of weapon upgrades here for FPX. TZH will retrieve that Spectre. Carmine Core already making their way over towards A site. It'll be Nevera and Scream to pick up the slack over here. But Nevera just considering the possibility of a flank, so might pull him a little deeper, especially considering he has that operator.
You want to fight it?
Actually going to split Nevera and Scream up, and Nevera finds a collapse. Berlin and YU will fall. It's just TZH to try and recover this now.
He's just unreal. I was going to say, this guy, he's always good for one. He's your safe operator player. He's perfect at it. He'll get one fallback, pain to play against. But now starting to maybe feel a little flashy. Gets a little discount on that frag, gets another one for free. Beautiful work. And it's, again, something that I've wanted to look at for a long time is how far does Nevera go? Because, again, yes, he looked great in Liquid a couple of times. We're seeing him here. Maybe this is the time that we start seeing that brilliant shine. And, again, nothing flashy about what I see in this player, but he's just perfect positioning. Great timing.
Quietly consistent always with Nevera.
Yep.
FPX going to call the timeout here because we're in the third map, and this almost feels like the do or die round. This is Carmine Core's access to series point. There's nothing left in the bank here for FPX. Obviously Bladestorm burnt up in the previous. Don't have that to offset a purchase. Yuchel and Berlin 2 away respectively. Carmine Core with a stack of ultimates to work with. Shin 1 away as well. And just to come back to him, fantastic performance across the entire day, honestly.
Yeah. And when we talk about, big stage experience and stuff like that, he's certainly not a name you put in there with, the likes of Scream or Nevera to an extent nowadays. Obviously, FPX very absent in that regard, but credit to him for coming out and making the stage very comfortable for
I think
himself.
at face value, when people look at this Carmine Core, obviously the two questions become Shin and Nuzera, right? Those are the two kind of additions. Well, I say additions, they were picked up from the previous roster.
Yeah.
So to make that jump to this stage here and deliver a performance like this, when Carmine Core needed it in this series.
After map 2.
They absolutely needed it.
There was some worrying scenes after map 2, but yeah, they seem to have stabilized and potentially off the back of him. Now Nevera fancying a little bit of that spotlight. Sticking around a little longer on this one, actually. One player slipping further forward. Got to be ready.
He's tagged and he just doesn't move.
Nope.
It's just... This exploration though, Shin's already out. Nuzera as well.
The angles.
Yuchun gotta find this, but he's spotted. I don't think he knew he was spotted there. Carmine Core get away scot-free with that first blood.
But B-site's wide open. Technically, they could just run. Obviously, they have no idea of that. Maybe it's a little telling or maybe 2 players in middle, but still.
All on the back of XMS putting this deep spy cam. Scream's actually found TZH with the fragment as well. An absolute disaster in this must-win round for FPX.
Yeah, it's starting to go a little bit wonky, unless maybe this backstab's great. I don't really know what they can get out of it. They've got to be so quick with it too. Otherwise, you just imagine they're going to be overwhelmed. YU's going to need 3, 2, something. You got to try and get away. The turn caught in between a rock and a hard place. Nowhere to really go with that. Can't really close down towards short either. And Berlin's flank is good, but it may not be good enough now. 3 players against you. Yes, you can reveal a little bit, but this is the only value of Harbor really at this point. You can just sit on the defuse, nothing to deny it. Shin to close it, and it's 12.
They get the plant, so they'll have that extra couple of funds, but it's not pretty at all. Yang down with a rifle, no armor. A light shield for YU, a bulldog coming through for YCHEN. Carmine Core finally stabilizing in this series.
Took him a little while. That was a big round, and that push middle, brazen. The bravado to do it. And do they go for another test towards the Shin? Looking like he wants to set a little something into motion. He's not alone in it. Yeah, that's a vulnerability, and it's Scream to capitalize on it. Funny Yang is huge. So much of that ability to get towards the sites, try and facilitate any of these approaches is now gone.
Finally, we see commitment behind this proactivity in the early round. Talking about it in the first half, how eager Carmine Core are to find that opening engagement.
Yeah.
Leaning back on those strengths from map 1 on Lotus, where they dominated the first blood game.
Navera. Deep positioning here. Has help from Art and Short if needed. Far does he dip back away from this? Quite far. Okay. Does get marked. Let's stick around and post a couple of shots in the timing. Just not going to find it on this one. But he still has help here. Scream's still here, but they actually wrap around towards Art. And that's the perfect approach towards it. It's a great concept. But it's still a 2v3. Nuzera. Navera. And look at this positioning. Almost 3 of the players willing to fight towards CT, and it looks like none of Carmine Core's players are going that way.
Zero does have the ultimate.
Full utility almost.
I don't think they're going to read 3 stacking this side though.
No.
Yeah, with the paranoia as well.
It's a very reasonable assessment, you'd imagine. Someone sat for this. Navera's just found one for free, and now, yeah, they cannot see this. And now if they can give it away, Nuzera just has to play, protect, keep Navera safe. That's all he's going to try to do. Halfway on the defuse, they still need more time. YU goes down! Navera! Nuzera in combination. Take him across the line.
And it's so concerning to see Navera sticking to that operator in that scenario, but they get it done. A crucial kill from Navera on default there. Opens up the floodgates. Beautiful retake to close things out. Heartbreak for FPX, who in my eyes exceeded expectations on that map too. Really taking the fight to Carmine Core, stretching this one all the way to 3 maps. But it's Shin for me. He's the highlight player. You have to say goodbye to FPX.
Yeah. And let's talk about what that means, bigger picture here. If that map 2 is anything to go by, fantastic potential in that scene. Map 1, map 3, hit and miss for me. We started to see the other side really step up to the plate, but map 2 is something to keep your eyes on, and I feel like we're going to have a couple of these throughout this tournament.
Absolutely, yeah. Come back, Carmine Core finally stabilizing here again. It felt way better. Not necessarily they played poorly on Haven. I think that was really FPX exceeding expectations, but certainly on Pearl here. Once they got a good grasp on a game plan, like I said, dialing back the differences between the times Navera's the one posted up with that operator to find the first blood, and Shin being really the tip of the spear in some of these set pieces. I mean, between them, Shin 6 first bloods, Navera 5.
Yeah.
Great stuff from them here on Pearl. And it felt like that was the story that continued from map 1. Really the value found from those opening engagements.
Yeah, I think that's on the money. It's good to see them doing well here, coming out. I don't think it's enough to quite note how far we think this roster will go. We have high expectations for this roster.
Yeah, I think take this with a pinch of salt. Obviously, this is against an opponent that is a relatively, unknown entity coming onto the international stage. For whether or not Carmine Core adjusted their game plan accordingly and were just completely, sucker punched in this series and caught off guard. Whether or not we see them revert back to defaults and play a little more traditionally, that's going to be the true test, and I think the true indicator of what Carmine Core we have here in São Paulo.
Yep, and as the players pack up and get themselves off the stage at some point, because it's been quite an arduous game for them. It's been a long series now. We've been going through the 3 maps. Every single one of these players put really through the ringer here, and I think at the start of the day, a lot of us expecting potentially a 2-0, especially after map 1. I think a fair assessment, but what a turn of events it was, and in such style. I think a lot of other teams can now start looking and going, well, if they're able to get away with it, thank God they got to play against them and not us. FPX certainly looking dangerous.
Yeah, there are some positives to take away. I mean, TZH for me in a couple of scenarios just look absolutely insane.
Yep.
YU final map aside, we can talk about some of the difficulties they had and actually some of the positives that Carmine Core brought to the table in kind of negating what he was able to do. But definitely some positives to take away from the international stage here for FPX.
Yeah, I think YU for me in that final map was played around, basically. They were making it very
hard to
have many chances. No, they literally noted him as early as possible and moved away from him. But overall, long story short, not a terrible outing for FPX in my mind.
No.
The fact they were able to pick up that map too, and in the fashion they did it, was actually very impressive.
Absolutely.
Very enjoyable to witness.
I think they're one of those teams that, you know, early on in VALORANT we were talking about obviously seeing some of these teams like this play against a deeper pool of teams and just how they test, obviously standing the test of time.
Well, standing the test of time will be hopefully the MVP, the player of the match, whoever stood out to you the most will be brought up on the screen in a second time. There it is. Let us know your thoughts. Who stood out to you? I mean, for you, let's say on the winning side.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer for me. Shin should win this every day of the week. He had an insane series across the board, and like I said, to have that leap up to this international stage and deliver those numbers today in the manner in which he did, absolute standout performance.
I think that's a really nice way to sum this one up and wrap this one up as we are done here with game one. Plenty more to come up today, though, so do not go too far away. You still have the desk to break everything down and all that good stuff, so do stick around.
welcome. Love is in the air, but you want to know what else is in the air? Maybe some upsets. Hello and welcome to day 2 of the lock-in. And here we go. A matchup that everyone is excited to see. 2 teams, unknown commodities across the board. Who knows what we're going to get in this epic matchup?
Carmine Corp somehow weathered that storm that was going on in B. This game is bizarre, Mike. Yeah, it's going to be a shutdown. Lovely. Carmine Corp, light work. And it's a 13-6 map 1 here. Carmine Corp looking pretty solid, I've got to say, Mike. Good tag, falls back, gets the frag, looks for the bomb. Oh! Stunning shot, needs another. He's got support now. Great work from FPX here. Naturally, we're seeing Carmine Corp folding here. Being folded over by FPX. Shin, though, gets a free chance at it. He gets one. Carmine Corp desperately trying to fight and falling to FPX. Can you believe it? We're going all 3. Scream still down so low. He needs the 1v1. He's not got it.
Nice. Why are you so good, man?
I've got to say, for me,
Shin
Shin
firing
is
up.
absolutely carrying this game. Sion does do a little bit of damage, but it's Nuzera to go farming and Scream to put on a highlight reel.
Nivera and Scream up, and Nivera finds a collapse. Beautiful retake to close things out. Heartbreak for FPX, who, in my eyes, exceeded expectations.
The series started how it ended, with a shorty kill. Those were your Prime Gaming post-match highlights. Golden Boy here back again with Brennan Sideshow as we look to break down, honestly, a very fascinating series, Josh.
Do you want an update on the shorty battle?
Yes.
Okay, there were 8 kills with a shorty over the course of that series, and it was 4 for each team.
Yeah,
They were
all
perfectly
right.
even with the shorty battle. There
Let's
you
go.
The evolution of the shorty meta as well.
Yeah.
It hasn't quite trickled down into ranked yet.
No,
I
it
found.
will do.
But it will. It will eventually.
After
Mark my
today, it
words.
definitely will, and then everyone's going to be angry about it. But let's just go ahead and take stock of what we just witnessed there on Pearl. And you know, really, the casters were talking about it. We were praising it. Shin just had a spectacular game.
Yeah, he had a worldie of a game, didn't he? I mean, he was taking all sorts of fights in mid as well when the sides ended up swapping around. I was pointing out, kind of looking forward to FPX's attack side, because that's typically where, you know, I've seen them have success in the past. But I think Carmine Corp did a good job of just fighting them in mid, making sure that they were very clean with it, and honestly just making sure that they took the good fights.
But look at the first kill differential again, man. So across this entire series, Carmine Corp were getting 70% of the first kills. You can't win a series when your early game goes that badly, and I think
You're
that
playing 4v5.
that to me is the biggest takeaway for FPX there, because whether it was Shin on an early angle or whether it was Nivera's operator, which was fantastic in this series overall, you know, those are really core things that ended up pushing both of those first and third maps way in favor of the French team.
Yeah.
I think, massive credit to Nivera, though, with the idea to buy the operator as well, but that we saw on Haven as well as a bit of a difference maker for the first half, even though they didn't win the map, and towards the end of Pearl as well, because I think it was just good. It's good to punish teams that are a little bit less uncoordinated that are going to be leaving those angles open.
Yeah, but Nivera was still, even with the loss on Haven, was still, you know, fantastic.
Still
right?
good.
And I think like they have a winner there with Nivera. They just got to hone that in, and they realize, to me it looked like Casey was just like, our fundamentals are just better. Let's just play this game and do the thing that we know that we can do. Aim, kill, win. And that is exactly what happened. But unfortunately, that means that we have to say goodbye to Fun Plus Phoenix here, which is a heartbreaker because this team, you know, a lot of personality out there in the server, Bren. You know, I liked what I saw. I'm excited to see more of them in the future.
It's always fun to watch the Chinese teams, I think, as well, to turn up to these big events and just limit test live and see what they can and can't get away with.
Yeah,
and really I mean that in a really nice way, because seriously, this is the beginning of the you know, the Valorant scene for China, arguably.
It is.
They had that showcase at Champs last year, but this event as well, and in the future, they are paving the way, I think, for their entire region to potentially, you know, carve out their own slot in the global circuit.
Yeah, and I think this was a decent showing. You know, when we said at the beginning Carmine Corp should be considered the favorites, FPX I thought might have a moment of making it look close on a map, but I was expecting like 13-8, 13-8, they just go home like that, and you know, don't do too much. They took a map here, they took it to Carmine Corp, they found gaps and actually executed their game plan well, so there are some positives to take away and a lot of big learning moments.
Yeah, well, I hope that is really the thing that they rip from this experience, right? I feel like a lot of teams, like squads like DRX, for example, learned so much and brought that back to the
Yeah,
region, continued their dominance.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the same thing here for FPX, and I hope in a year, 2 years' time, we're talking about them contending for top 8, top 4 finishes. That's the perfect world I would like to live in. But who knows what's going to happen here. The Valorant's ever-changing. So before the break, though, we actually asked you guys to vote for the player of the match, and the results are in. And if you didn't pick Shin, I would have been mad. Okay, there it is. So Shin ends up getting our MVP. Very well-deserved, Sideshow.
Absolutely. When he stepped up to this is the first time that he's been on a big stage, first time playing against Tier 1 competition, although, you know, a slightly easier matchup in the first round than going up against Loud or DRX or something, but still the perfect way to get out on the stage and prove that you've got it and that you deserve your spot in partnership.
Yeah,
and he did it.
I tell you now, I'm going to start buying that Sheriff for my pistol rounds when I'm playing Fade.
What?
I ain't buying
I mean,
any detail, man.
That's so weird.
That's what that's told me.
Defense
Always force the
Fade.
Sheriff, man. Always force the Sheriff. Angel was onto something.
No, he
When he
wasn't.
was making
No,
those
he
claims.
wasn't. No,
Angel
he
was
wasn't.
onto something,
No, he
I'm
wasn't.
telling you.
But I think, you know, you got some questions and you got some answers here from
Yeah.
Carmine Core. And to me, the two big answers to the questions that you got were, Shin is definitely good enough to play at this level, absolutely. And Nivera's operator is going to be a really important tool for them to rely on. And so I think them both being part of the MVP discussion is incredibly important.
A lot of chef's kiss moments for sure from Nivera. Loved what we saw. Obviously, though, for Carmine Corp, the challenges only continue, just like for pretty much every single team here, because they're going to be facing off against the winner of Loud and Gen G, which is going to be a tough challenge ahead. But for more on the win that they just had against FPX, we actually have Yinsu standing by with the legend himself, Scream, for the Verizon post-match interview.
Thank you very much, Golden Boy. That's right, I have Scream here with me. Welcome. First of all, congratulations on the win. I wanted to ask you, how did you find a game that was that fast-paced and that chaotic? And how do you call as an IGL? How do you respond to those situations that you probably don't normally have to go up against?
Yeah, honestly, pretty surprising gameplay from them. Like, I heard, like, you know, stuff around, like, they play slow, they play aggressive, but actually they were kind of aggressive, and they played pretty well around the gaps we had, you know. So it was hard on Haven, especially, you know, we had a hard game, but overall it was pretty controlling game, I feel like, you know, even though it was chaotic a little bit, but yeah, at the end we played our game and it worked out, you know, like on Haven, the clutch factor, like we lost a lot of clutches and it didn't go our way, but we lost buff pistols as well, so you can give it to them. They played pretty good on this map.
And speaking of your game, I heard you say in the press conference that this era, kind of what is happening at K-Corp, is very structured. You wanted to showcase that. Do you feel like you did showcase that today, and were you maybe a little bit prohibited by all of the chaos that was going on?
Yeah, I think, you know, the first game on stage, you know, the excitation, you know, the players, you know, like a lot of situations where we didn't stay calm, you know, as we usually do, you know. So there's a lot of this, you know, first game on stage. But I'm happy it did go our way, you know. So it was not an easy game, and I'm happy we closed it out.
A win is a win. A win is a win.
A win is a win.
Now, I gotta say, for those of you at home who don't know how big of a deal this is, you haven't played a single series, best of 3, best of 5 series, without being on a duel list since 2020. And that was also against FPX back in EU, the old FPX. So what is going on? It doesn't seem right. It doesn't feel right that you're not playing a duel list character.
Yeah, when I came into this team, you know, I wanted to have a more structured game. And I think duelist in this game is a bit more, you know, you lose kind of a lot of tools, you know, a lot of tools. When you play like a KO, like a Fade, like this kind of stuff, and they did as well. They didn't play duelist on every map, and, you know, like, it's hard, you know, it's hard to play against. So that's kind of what we do, and I don't know, we didn't see all of our maps, so I can't say much right now, but yeah, obviously I'm the IGL. I'm taking more like the role into, like, you know, initiator, you know, stuff like this. And, you know, we have Shin, so very aggressive player, and whatever agent he plays, he's going to be aggressive and he's going to be good. So, I don't know, like, duelist is overrated.
Oh, okay. Now, in the past, you've been quite vocal about sometimes you don't particularly find the likes of Sky and KO a lot of fun. You know, you had your struggles, you weren't quite sure if that was the right fit for you. What changed?
That's not true. Like, actually, Sky KO, that's some agents I really enjoy, actually. You know, you can kind of hybrid it, you know, like a duelist and initiator at the same time. That's what I like, and as I said, I'm the IGL right now. I need to be, you know, a step back, like have a good global vision on the game, and I think that's better for calling, in my opinion.
And last question, some of the FPX players, they called you out by name. They really looked up to you. They said that it was an honor to share the stage with you. So is there anything you'd like to say to them after playing against them?
Well, respect to them, respect to China. You guys play really good, and you know it was a close game. And yeah, like what can I say? You know, have a good trip home. Like that's it. Like thank you guys.
Thank you very much, Scream, for joining me. And we have had a great first series already, but don't worry, guys. We got 2 more coming up, and after the break, BBL will be taking on DRX.